the one you've all been waiting for, Cottonmouths, also by Ted O'Hare. And remember, I told you that the cottonmouth is a close cousin of the copperheads. They're both in the family called Crotalidae. So is a rattlesnake, Crotalidae. Close cousins, cottonmouths and copperheads. So let's learn about the cottonmouths. I like these snakes. Cottonmouths are relatives of rattlesnakes. Like all snakes, cottonmouths are reptiles. They are venomous snakes and members of the Crotalidae family. Unlike many of their relatives, they like to live in freshwater habitats. One of the cottonmouth's closest relatives is the Mexican moccasin, also known as Taylor's cantal. And there is a picture of the Mexican moccasin. That's hard for me to say. The name cottonmouth comes from the white lining in the snake's mouth. Look at him. You see him, that's called gaping. He's holding his mouth open to scare you away. And you can see that the inside of his mouth is white. That's why they call him a cottonmouth. And I want you to notice something else too. You're always going to be able to see a black stripe on a cottonmouth. It goes from their eye to the corner of their mouth. Look, even this one, this is a Mexican moccasin. He has that black stripe going from his eye to the corner of his mouth. And I'm telling you that because the patterns that you see on young cottonmouth snakes, as they get older, they start to disappear and they just get darker and darker. And you can't see these patterns, but you can still see the band from their eye to the corner of their mouth. And if you see them gaping like this, you'll know right away that it's a cottonmouth. They are venomous, remember where they live. Cottonmouths live in the swamps, lakes, rivers, and marshes of the southeastern United States. They like to lie in the warm sun near water. If their habitats dry up, they'll travel great distances to find water once more. Did you know cottonmouths have been known to live for 20 years? This is the Big Cypress Swamp in southwest Florida. It's an ideal cottonmouth habitat. Cottonmouths would like to live in there. What they look like. Cottonmouths have scales. These may be olive, brown, and black, and they have ridges. Some types have bands that are dark brown with a light color on each side of the band. Some cottonmouths are a solid dark color. A dark band runs from each eye to the corner of the mouth. That's what I was just telling you. Another type of cottonmouth is the eastern cottonmouth, coiling to strike in this picture. Eastern cottonmouth. But again, you see that stripe? That's a cottonmouth. Got to be careful with those. The western cottonmouth is a third type of cottonmouth. That is a western cottonmouth, but he's got that stripe from his eye to the corner of his mouth. Did you know cottonmouths may be 4 to 5 feet long, almost as tall as Mimi again? That's a big snake. Their senses. The cottonmouth's tongue reaches out to bring in particles. The Jacobson's organ in the roof of the snake's mouth analyzes these particles. The sense of smell is helped by sight and heat. The cottonmouth is able to see moving prey, and the heat receptor pits on the face sense the prey's warmth. A cottonmouth's forked tongue helps it study nearby objects and movements. See? There's a cottonmouth and his forked tongue and the stripe. The head and mouth. The head of the cottonmouth has a flat top. Hollow fangs are folded against the roof of its mouth. When the snake bites, the fangs extend. They inject venom from the venom gland into the prey. A close-up of a cottonmouth's head shows the snake's fangs and heat receptors. There. That's his nostril, and that's one of the heat receptors. Here's the snake's fangs. This is his esophagus, how he breathes, and his tongue. And there is that white inside of his mouth where he gets his name, Cottonmouth. The jaws stretch so the snake can swallow whole animals. The windpipe extends from the throat to the front of the mouth. This lets the snake breathe while it's swallowing his prey. A cottonmouth begins to swallow a fish, a favorite prey. So there is Mr. Cottonmouth swallowing a fish whole. He likes fish. Baby cottonmouths. The mother snake gives birth to 5 to 15 babies in late summer or early fall. When the babies are about 10 inches long. And when it's born, the baby cottonmouth has bright patterns with bands and a yellow tail. Just like the copperhead, the baby copperhead has a yellow tail. As it grows older, the patterns fade and the snake becomes darker. Did you know? As soon as it's born, a cottonmouth is able to kill small prey. A baby Florida cottonmouth begins to shed its first skin. This is a Florida cottonmouth. But again, there's that band from his eye to the corner of his mouth. They're prey. Because cottonmouths are good swimmers, they often hunt for prey in water. Fish, frogs, ducks, and small turtles are good prey. The cottonmouth also eats other snakes. The cottonmouth attacks its prey with a quick venomous bite and swallows it all at once. Cottonmouths often hunt in the water, but they also look for animals on land. That one is hunting at the water's edge, but they'll also hunt on land. Did you know? Alligators, birds, and raccoons eat the cottonmouth. Alligators will attack and eat cottonmouths, but cottonmouths sometimes return the favor by eating baby alligators. Their defense. Cottonmouths avoid enemies whenever possible. If it cannot escape, the cottonmouth shows its fangs and the white lining of its mouth. It shakes its tail to warn the enemy that it's in danger. If the enemy comes too close, the cottonmouth will strike. An angry western cottonmouth warns enemies to keep their distance. See how he's gaping? You see his fangs up here folded up against the roof of his mouth and that white lining. He's saying, go away. He's warning you, go away. The cottonmouth's diamond-shaped head helps separate it from the many non-venomous water snakes of North America. That's the top of his head, and you can see right here that his head is kind of triangle shaped. cottonmouths and people. Because they like water, cottonmouths often hide in fishing boats. But if they sense people, cottonmouths will race to get back in the water. The bite of the cottonmouth is painful. It can cause swelling and damaged tissue near the bite. Cottonmouth. Hope you liked it.